It's a beautiful Wednesday out there, Quad Cities. And thank you for tuning in to Don't House Us for Local here. Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. Happy anniversary to my brother, Chip, and his wife, Rachel. Congratulations to them. 3 years now. Fantastic. All right, we've got guests coming in. We've got guests on the radio today. We're going to talk to Emily Van Buskirk a little bit later in the second hour at 1 o'clock. Talk about college football. Kyle Reimers is going to join us roughly around 12:15 around the first break. So we've got some things to talk about with him. I've got a new segment we're going to do. It's called the Wednesday 150s. It's going to be where I bet on every single game of the NFL and tell you which way. If I like it, I'm going to go 100. If I have to bet it, I'm going to go 50. So there's your 150s. Because every week it kind of changes with the bye weeks and everything, I didn't have like a total. Like some people are like, we're going to bet 1,000 this week. That's it only. And maybe it'll be. But right now, just off the top of my head, I thought the Wednesday 150s because there's some things out there. It's the first week of wagering. It's going to kick off tomorrow night. Tampa Bay is going to play host to Dallas. So we've got our 2021 season. It's just right around the corner. And obviously, we've got our NCAA football. Iowa State both kicked off last week. Iowa 34-6 over Indiana. Iowa State 16-10 over UNI. Now Iowa State plays host to Iowa. We got the Associated Press came out yesterday as we were on the air. Iowa jumped all the way up to number 10. And Iowa State fell a little bit to number 9. This is the first ever meeting between the two schools when they're both ranked in the top 10. So, I mean, it's a big deal. Should be a lot of fun. That being, game day is going to be there. So, I know, I believe it was Tyron Tracy that went on Twitter and was kind of talking about some of the things that people say. Did I say top 10? This is their first ranked-unranked matchup ever. So, yeah, Tyron Tracy was on Twitter yesterday. He said, this is kind of their Super Bowl. Talking about the Iowa State Cyclones. And this is game day's coming. It might be a distraction for them, but it's business for us as usual, which I wouldn't expect any other way. This afternoon, I'm going to be on the WGYM in Cedar Rapids talking about WagerWise and talking about some of the lines from the Iowa State game, odds of who's going to score first, as well as also with the head-to-head matchups, which I talked about a little bit yesterday and can go over again today. We're also going to talk about pros versus Joes. It's going on, but I'll record that this afternoon. But I'm going to discuss on that show kind of like what I said yesterday. It was by the time Saturday came and all the hoopla and all the smoke clears and it's right before kickoff and you're thinking about the gambling side of it, it becomes pretty obvious if you start using your brain. All right? Like T-Ray said yesterday, we were all nervous about Indiana going into Kinnick. Yeah, I could see that. We said we're going to stay away from that game. No big deal. But in actuality, when you started thinking about it and you start breaking it down and you're around people who, I don't know, I consider smart, but just a different, instead of like the people that I talk to here in the Hassel Castle, just outside of it, and breaking it down, and we're like, yeah, Indiana had a really good season last year. There's no doubt about that. And you think about who they played tough and the teams that they beat. And then you start throwing in but yeah, coming into Kinnick when you're ranked, it's not easy to do. We have all seen people fall before. You've got your Michigan games, you've got the Ohio State Woodshed game, and now this is Indiana. Well, you throw in the factor that last year there wasn't any fans. I mean, there were fans, but it wasn't just under 70,000 like there were on Saturday at 2:30 kickoff at Kinnick Stadium. You start to realize, I don't think Indiana can be ready for this. I really don't think so. You start from the top. Tom Allen said, hey, Iowa's where we want to be. Well, that's not a good start. It should be more of, you want to say when someone's praising your program, when I came into this, I strive to be Iowa. I feel we're there, and I feel it's our turn to run with them. But the team themselves were not ready for the noise for that whatsoever. So that was the obvious one. It's time to take Iowa. Then you have Iowa State, UNI. And that one was at 31.5 we saw on Thursday or Friday by kickoff. The kickoff, I think it went down to 28.5, not 28. I got in at 29.5. And that was the no-brainer, too, talking amongst people, because it was like, wait a minute, Iowa State's not going to be able to cover this, right? Like, there's no way. They're looking, kind of go back to what we said about Tyron Tracy and his tweet. This is a bigger game for Iowa State than it is Iowa. And so they're not going to put it all on UNI. Even if they were up by 3 scores at halftime, I felt confident that they would pull it back and UNI would either get in garbage time. That wasn't the case at all with the 16-10 game that they barely squeaked out. And for UNI, that is their Super Bowl. I mean, they're going to look at their Gateway Conference games, and it's going to be important to them. But not as big as beating Iowa State. You know, you have to think about that. Some of those UNI kids that are in-state kids, they got just preferred walk-ons or didn't get any scholarship offers at all from Iowa State. They might be a little bitter. Same with some Iowa State kids. They may not have gotten any offers from Iowa, and they've got preferred walk-ons. So, you know, it is a little bit interesting how you look at everything and how they look at the game. Does Matt Campbell still have the clock running to kick off of this game? Does he still just can call Iowa the team out east? You're ranked higher preseason than Iowa, and you're still calling him the team out east because you feel like you don't want to say that name. And the team out east doesn't really consider it too much of a rivalry. They just consider it a trophy. You need to reevaluate like where you're looking at this, how you're approaching this rivalry. This has gone up a little bit. We've seen some changes. I mean, it got up to 4.5 yesterday. So it's rather interesting, some of the lines. There are head-to-head matchups to look at through the whole thing. And that's what we need to find. It's not too crazy, though. That's the other thing. It's not like you find something that's glaring. It's so obvious that it will just blow your socks off. You know, straight up in the since 2000, Iowa is 12-7 against Iowa State. Against the spread, Iowa is 7-12. So Iowa State is covered 12 times. I'm sorry, it was 12-8 straight up Iowa because they played 20 times. One time there was a push. That was in 2013. The road team has covered 13 out of the 20 times they've played in the since 2000. The over-under, this is the interesting one. And the over-under is high. The over-under is at 52. No, that's not right. The over-under is at 48, sorry. The over-under has gone to the under 13 to 6 times. So the over's only hit 6 times. But it's hit 5 times at Iowa State since 2000. So the over-under is 48 this weekend. This is the highest it's been since 2017 when it was 49.5, and that actually hit the over. Last time, other than that, it was 50 in 2016, and it was 47.5 in 2015, 49 in 2014. 19 and 18, 42 and 46 under hit both times. The average in 10 games at Iowa State is 46.75 points scored per game. So it does lean more towards Iowa State covering, but Iowa State hasn't been favored at home. Let's see. I'm not certain if Iowa State has been favored at home. No, Iowa State has not been favored at home since 2000. So those are some of the trends you look at. A lot of times when they're covering because it's closer games than we expected them to be. So, like I said, I'm going to be talking on KGM, JYM out there, GYM out in Cedar Rapids this afternoon. I'm excited to talk about that. But like I said, where you've got people coming in, I'm going to share a quick story, though. I went to Kinnick Stadium on Saturday. I took my son for the first time. He's 9 years old, realizing that this was going to be an epic moment. You know, I remember my first time at Kinnick Stadium. It was fall of 1987. just alternating, changing life to be there, and now it's even better to everything that they put together. So he was with me. It was just him and I. We knew some people. We went to a couple tailgates. He's very excited to be there. I take him through everything as we're driving up, and we get in Iowa City. We park, and I'm like, a couple things I'm going to give you some advice here. Here's how this works. You're going to meet some people today. You're going to be polite. You're going to say, nice to meet you, all that stuff. But this is one of the few days you don't have to say hi or goodbye to everyone. You can always say, go Hawks. It's like, all right, go Hawks. I said, as we were driving up, we listened to a little bit of the Washed Up Walk-Ons podcast. I said, I've had these guys on the show before. They're good dudes. I said, now take some advice from them. Someone asks you, who do you like today? Do you like the Hawkeyes? You just tell them Hawks by 1,000,000. So just giving them some advice. Also the advice, and I'll share with you guys as well. When you're traveling, if you're a Hawkeye fan, it's always important to wear your Hawkeye gear, because no matter what airport I've been in, no matter what country I've been in or whatever else, you wear your Hawkeye gear, you're going to run into someone who's going to say, go Hawks. You feel like you have a friend everywhere you go. Just a little life advice I gave to him, shared with him, I'm going to share with you. So now he's at there. He goes to a couple tailgates. He's got his chest puffed out. He's really excited to share everything. He runs into a couple friends of mine that haven't seen him since he was a toddler. They're asking him, are you in any sports? He's like, yeah, I'm in 3. He is. He's in fall baseball. He's in soccer. He's in football. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. Yeah. So, again, keep in mind, the kid's 9. So everybody is like, they're asking questions. What are you playing football? And he's like, receiver a little bit here, lineman there, this and that. He doesn't really get too involved in it. Like, what are you playing soccer? He's like, I don't know, I'll just kind of kick the ball, which I get it. And I tell my friends, I'm like, well, there's a reason why we're doing this. Like, Ben, tell him. And he's like, well, I'm doing flag football right now to learn the game. I'm playing soccer right now to kick a ball. Meaning he's not there to become a striker or forward or whatever it is in soccer on a state championship team. And he's not there to be an elite all-state defensive back. He's explaining to him that I'm there to learn the game and then learn how to kick, because eventually I'm going to be a kicker, and I'm going to kick for whatever high school, and then hopefully I get here. And everyone's like, that's great. That's your plan? You're going to kick here? And he's like, yep, I'm going to kick at Iowa. And he's 9. He doesn't realize all the work he has to put into it, but he puffs his chest out. It's great. So then we go to the Hawk Walk, and he's super pumped about it. It was pretty cool. It's the first time I've ever seen it. And the crowd there is amazing. And he's videotaping it. And, he's just like, am I going to be able to walk out there? Sure, kid. You work hard. You want to be a kicker. Yeah, that you can do the Hawk Walk. And he's like, oh, that's great. I can't believe I'm going to do that. And then we get in, 50 minutes early. I'd say 50 minutes early before kickoff. And by the way, I do suggest that you go in early. The lines were not bad getting in there with our tickets or anything like that. Everything is digital. But those concession stand lines are long. I don't care what anyone tells you that if they say it was surprisingly easy. The concession stand are long. If you just get like beer, water, and the side ones, it's not as bad. But concession stand's backed up. Anyway, we're going about 50 minutes early and getting all excited. And we're watching him warm up, and I'm showing him certain things and, pointing out, okay, well, here's the defensive backs, here's what the wide receivers do, there's the linemen, and there's the kickers, He's watching this, and he's all excited, and he starts saying, to himself, like, I can't believe I'm going to kick here someday. Again, easy, kid, you're 9. But, hey, keep up the hard work, you keep it up, we'll send you some kicking camps, who knows, and then eventually, he's getting overwhelmed because the crowd's filling in. And then the swarm comes, which is amazing. It tears me. I tear up every time. Even the first time I hear not the national anthem, but that too, but the fight song by the band, that's a big deal, And so that's great. And the wave, obviously, that'll tear you up also. But yeah, the swarm comes out, the Kinnick erupts, everything else, and he's like, I can't believe I'm going to be part of that swarm. And I'm like, yeah, kid, just hard work. That being said, he's got a long way to go. I think it's cute, but the worst part about it is when you come back into reality, and now he's, going into this week, and he has flag football, and he has soccer practice, and he has games, and he's like, I think I need to drop one, maybe soccer. And I'm like, absolutely not. Remember our entire Saturday? Our entire Saturday was you puffing out your chest saying that you're telling these people, these adults, that someday you're going to kick at Kinnick Stadium, and now you're telling me that maybe you might be overwhelmed with your schedule. I think we're going to stick to the plan, kid. I think you're okay with 1 hour a practice a week and 1 hour game on a Sunday. We're going to be just fine. If I have to, if we miss a football game here and there at the NFL, that's not going to be a big deal. So that's how fast it went from a kid telling himself that he was going to kick at Kinnick on a Saturday to looking at his schedule on a Tuesday and going, you know what, maybe, and I think it's cute that he thinks he has a say in his agenda. But I think we're going to stick with the plan that we have. All right. I'm going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, Kyle's going to join us. Remember, at 1 o'clock, we're going to talk to Emily Van Buskirk. And then we also have the Wednesday 150s segment to do as well, because we're going to look at every game out there that's for the NFL this week. The ones I like, I'm going to be putting higher money on. The ones that I don't like as much, but we're going to bet every game I'm going to put 50 on. So we're going to do that. We'll be back right after this. Don't Ask Us for Local here on ESPN 1170 AM.
Hi, this is Derek.
And this is Skip.
We are the twins from Arbar, Davenport. And you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
On ESPN 1170 AM.
Hey, do you have time to go to Vegas with me?
Time? Yes. Extra money to pay for the flights? No.
No, not Vegas. I'm talking about Vegas, right here in the Quad Cities.
I've never heard about Vegas. Tell me more.
Oh, they're safe and secure gaming cafes with 6 locations.
What kind of games do they have there? And they've got beer, right?
They have the latest games provided by Gem. And yes, beer.
Sounds like I'm going to save on flights, have fun, and win big.
To find out more about their locations and hours, they're open. Visit VegasGamingCafeIL.com.
AJ here, get your t-shirts here, sweatshirts or polos here, GT Sports here, new owners, new items. I'm AJ at GT Sports, the best damn apparel shop in the Quad Cities with custom apparel, backpacks, uniforms, drinkware, hats, and much more. We are the embroidery and screen printing champions you can count on. GT Sports has it and is ready to serve you. Just down from Helium and Eldridge, or find us online at GT Sportswear. GT Sports here. Get your t-shirts here, sweatshirts or polos here, GT Sports here.
Arconic, one of the largest employers in the area, is now hiring electricians, general mechanics, machinists, roll grinders, and mobile equipment mechanics. They're offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus, competitive wages, extensive benefits, and future career growth. Apply, interview, and complete technical testing all in one day. Grab your resume and face mask and attend the Arconic Job Fair September 10th from 1 to 5 p.m. and September 11th from 8 to 1 p.m. at the Arconic Learning Center, 4900 State Street in Bettendorf.
What's your car's monthly payment? There's a good chance that First Midwest Bank can lower it. Just like refinancing a mortgage, First Midwest Bank can refinance your auto loan too. That means lower payments, lower interest rates, and higher monthly savings. Plus, you can wait up to 60 days to make your first payment. Go to firstmidwest.com/auto-refi to apply and drive down your car payments today. Member FDIC, subject to credit approval, vehicle insurance required.
The NFL is back, and FanDuel Sportsbook is celebrating with 40-1 odds on any Week 1 game. Who doesn't want to win $200 on a $5 bet? This is no Hail Mary. It's that simple. New customers get 40-1 odds when you place your first wager. FanDuel is sports betting made simple. The app is so easy to use. Plus, when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 24 hours. To get you started, here's what I'm taking for my Week 1 risk-free bet. I'm cashing in my piggy bank and putting it all on the Kansas City Chiefs over the Cleveland Browns. Offers like this are just one of the many reasons I love betting the NFL on FanDuel. It's the #1 rated sportsbook app in America, and easy to use, safe and secure, with fast payouts. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. They're always hooking you up with exclusive odds boosts, great promotions, and so much more. Just sign up with promo code Trevor and you can win $200 on a $5 bet. That's promo code Trevor, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. 21 plus and present in Iowa. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $200. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
I'm Omar Reese with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. When Mac Jones won New England's quarterback competition, it came as a surprise to many, but not to Jones. The rookie quarterback says he wasn't shocked by the outcome, explaining he always approached his first season as if he was the quarterback at the top of the depth chart. Jones' stellar preseason for a rookie quarterback ranked as the best ever, according to Pro Football Focus. Le'Veon Bell has a new home with what used to be a familiar foe. NFL Network's Mike Garafolo reporting Bell is back in the AFC North after signing with the Ravens practice squad. Speaking of running backs, the Saints releasing Latavius Murray on Tuesday. The move saves more than $3 million in immediate salary cap space. And the Buccaneers added Chris Godwin to the injury report ahead of Thursday night's season opener against the Cowboys, listing the receiver as a limited participant in Tuesday's practice with a quad injury. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
I can pop a beer in here, right? Your cousin from Boston. This here is Sam Adams Boston Lager. It's my go-to beer. Not too heavy, not too oh boy, oh boy. That's whoopsie daisy. Oh no. Is there somebody that can help? Come on in the room. It poured right in the keyboard. Relax. I spill beer on my computer all the time. Sam Adams Boston Lager. The Boston Beer Company, Boston, Massachusetts. Drink responsibly.
Thursday Night Football is only on NFL Network.
No, Tom, it is everything you got.
We're here for a storied rivalry with the game's brightest stars.
What an impressive run with a stiff arm.
Saquon is back, giving the Giants renewed hope.
What a game he's had.
But Chase Young has his squad ready to defend the division crown.
I'm not losing.
It's an NFC East showdown.
Woo! There, baby. That's big time there.
Thursday Night Football, September 16th, only on NFL Network.
Your home of the Chicago White Sox and the only local sports show in the Quad Cities. Don't hassle us. We're local. Noon till 2 on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Welcome back to the Hassle Castle. Brought to you by the R Bar in Davenport, your destination for an upscale and sophisticated atmosphere. The R Bar is located at 4907 Utica Ridge Road and prides itself on its fine wines and liqueurs, unique cocktails and martinis. From Busch Light to bougie, the R Bar has something for everyone, which makes it a great fit for you and your friends. Have a drink, grab a bottle of wine to share, and watch a game. You can do all of that at the R Bar. Make sure to check out their Facebook for live music and announcements, specials, and much more. And while you're there, make sure to like their page. See you tonight at the R Bar in Davenport on Utica. All right, we have Kyle in the studio with me. Kyle, welcome to the Hassle Castle again.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here, buddy. How are things going?
Staying busy.
Good. Busy's good.
Just on vacation this week, so.
That's good. Still, how did you pick vacation this week? Just because of Labor Day or whatever else?
Yeah, usually Labor Day is always the week before Labor Day is always blocked off, so nobody can get it until like salesmen can get it or somebody higher up in the company with Pepsi can get it. But
okay,
I just saw it and just kind of took it.
Right on. Hey, good idea. So let's see. Right now, let's do a recap here. You're an Iowa Hawkeye fan.
Yep.
And then Kansas City Royals fan. I mean Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Kansas City Chiefs, yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I apologize. That's what I was getting to because obviously, and then baseball.
St. Louis.
That's what I thought. Yeah. 42nd standing ovation for Albert Pujols last night as he returned to Busch Stadium with the Dodgers, and then he showed up by hitting a home run after that. So good moment for Albert Pujols.
There's still there's going to be a lot of Cardinal fans still have respect for a former player coming back to St. Louis, and it's the same if a Cardinals player gets to go to the Cubs or vice versa. St. Louis is a very, very classy team to do that.
Yeah, and if they're fans, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't mind. They're Cub fans. You know, they don't mix or anything like that. But like sometimes, but I don't have a problem with Cardinal fans. I actually find them to be some of the most knowledgeable baseball fans out there. But good for them. 42nd standing ovation, and then he hits a home run. That's a good moment for them. Today, the 2020 class of the National Baseball Hall of Fame is going in. Last year, the ceremony was canceled due to the pandemic. So there will be fans in attendance. Derek Jeter's going in.
Very respectful guy.
Colorado Rockies will finally be represented in the Hall of Fame. Larry Walker's going in.
He was also a Cardinal as well.
Mm-hmm. Marvin Miller, one of the fathers of the modern free agency, is going in, and Ted Simmons, catcher, is going in as well. So that's going to be going on today. I think it's 1:30 time you can watch this. Yeah, it's actually 12:30, so it's going to be starting on MLB Network here soon. So you can watch that, put that on the back while listening to us, or keep us on your computer, watch us on Facebook Live, YouTube as well. This weekend, Kyle, got a pretty big game.
It's always a big game with Iowa State. It's always big.
Well, I was saying before we went to break, Tyrone Tracy just kind of said that it's a big deal to Iowa State. It's kind of like their Super Bowl. Game day's coming. And he thinks some of that might be a distraction, and we're going in there to go with business as usual.
That's what they did last year.
2 years
Or
ago.
2 years ago, excuse me. 2 years ago they did that.
2 years it came down to that
You
muff
know.
punt, though. That kind of helped out everything. But,
Yeah. But when you're going to visiting teams and it's your interstate rivalry, it's always going to be big game, one. Two, it's going to be a distraction, maybe for the home team. I agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to, we got to take care. Iowa's got to take care of business, not turn the ball over, run like we do, and just play like we do.
Here's the thing about this game. Iowa State has never been favored at home since 2000, okay?
Wow.
So if I'm doing everything in this, if I'm just looking at in the past 20 meetings, because obviously there wasn't one last year, Iowa State at home has never been favored. So this is a game you're supposed to win. This kind of flips. Iowa goes into this, and let's just say Iowa, in the past, Iowa's been favored -1.5, -3, -3.5. They're favored at -15 and covered that in 2016. Iowa won at home 42-3 over Iowa State that year. So there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times in this series since that the spread has been anywhere from between 3 to 5.5 in the past 20 years.
Pretty crazy.
Yep.
Pretty crazy.
So 8 times it's been that close. 5 out of that 8, Iowa State has covered that spread. But they were getting points every single time. That doesn't mean they won those games every time. It was -3 in 2018. Iowa won. It was -3.5 in favor of Iowa. Iowa won. It was -3.5 Iowa. Iowa won. Iowa gave up 3.5 in 2012. Iowa State won that game 9-6.
That was a field goal game.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
It was -5.5 in 2003. Iowa won that game. It was -3 in 2002. Iowa State won the game 36-31. It was -5. Iowa State won that game 17-14. And it was -3 in 2000. Iowa State won the game 24-14. Matt Campbell's never beat the Iowa Hawkeyes. This is the first time he's walked into a game where he's been favored to win. I do believe in 2019 at some point that became a pick'em. At any point, maybe Iowa State was winning that game till the pros came in and flipped that around.
Probably.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me. And they're also wearing their black uniforms.
Iowa State?
Yes.
Could care less.
Yeah, I know.
Throw that in there. Give me the line on what it is and that.
They're also undefeated wearing those black uniforms. I think they played Oklahoma and won.
That's a good stat to know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's interesting. It might be something to look at. Yeah, I know tomorrow we're going to talk with Kakert a little bit more, and he'll probably do his behind-the-scenes look with Iowa State. The 4.5.
It's like everybody's it's in the middle because you don't. I don't know. And you like to bet. You're a betting man, so.
I'm a betting man, and I'm trying not to sit there and go with my heart here or anything like that, but 4.5 is a lot of points for this Iowa team that.
It's only the first game, too. This is the second game now.
Yeah, but.
I don't know. It's hostile. You're finally playing on the road in 2 years. With crowd. The crowd's going to go freaking nuts.
Iowa State's never been favored at home. They've got everything to lose on this game.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is here's the deal. Iowa State has everything to lose on this game.
Correct.
Ferentz has treated this game as a non-conference game. 2002, for example. That's the game. Iowa State comes back and wins. That's the Seneca Wallace game.
I was going to say, that's a Seneca Wallace. And
Iowa goes on to the Orange Bowl.
Is that Brad Banks game?
Yeah, Brad Banks.
Yep.
Iowa goes on to the Orange Bowl, wins the Big Ten Conference, goes undefeated. Okay. Ferentz goes, okay. We went on to the Orange Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
It's just another game. And that's what Iowa needs. Iowa needs to take it's just another
Well,
game.
they're going to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
the same philosophy.
You've got seniors, juniors, you've got redshirt sophomores that have, outside of last year, but the guys from before that were played in 2019, 18, or 17, that they're just like, oh, yeah, we've had this week before. We've heard the same speech. Just go about business and do whatever else. Doesn't matter if it's Kinnick, doesn't matter if it's Iowa State.
Exactly.
Go out and win, go get a W, and don't worry about anything else. This point in time, you're just getting points. So, let's see. What's the biggest blowout win Iowa State has had over Iowa the last time they won?
You might have to go way, way back.
Well, Iowa's won the last 5.
Yep.
Iowa State won in 2014. They won 20-17. That was at Kinnick. And they won 2012. That was at Iowa. At last time that they won at Iowa State was 2011, September 10th.
Interesting.
They won 44-41. The last time they won was 10 years ago at Iowa State. So, keep that in mind. 10 years.
Long time.
And we're going to walk around Iowa State and just be like, oh, man, worry about this. No one's beating their chest. Iowa fans aren't beating their chest and being like, we just jumped up 8 spots to number 10.
Just another game.
I'm shocked about this number. That's 4.5. I really, truly am.
Would you think higher or lower?
Lower.
Than that? I'm thinking 3.
Yeah, I don't see that. I just don't see the 4.5, and I don't see why you just don't hammer that. And also, like, things have to go awry. I mean, big time awry for this not to be a closer.
Did they say who the celebrity guest picker is?
They have not. Not that I don't know. I know they were saying something yesterday, like Carson King might have something to do.
That would be cool.
I have no idea.
That would be really cool.
I don't want to go back 2 years. I am concerned about this. Going back to if we're doing it and we're pushing everything towards like children's and raising money or whatever else, but I don't want to go. I don't want to see a bunch of signs with my Venmo on me.
No.
I don't want to go back 2 years. I truly, honestly, my concern last week was like, oh my God, is the band going to try to steal the narrative of this week and try to go back to 2 years ago when it was hostile crowds? And the reports were so crazy that I don't think we still have the truth of what really happened after that game when apparently the band says like Iowa State fans pushed them, did whatever else, spitting on them, threw a beer at them. And all the findings out of Iowa State and Pollard were like, no. And then Iowa saying like the band director's like, yeah, it was this way. And I mean, I'd have to do some
major research.
Not really. It'd be half-assed because I'm not doing major research over this. I'm happy right now that I haven't seen anything like the band, and hopefully
they might just let it go.
Actually, maybe the band just shouldn't go. What's the point of taking a road band anyway? I don't care if it's in state or not.
No, that's.
You don't need the band.
No.
Ohio State. I mean, Indiana's band wasn't there. You know what they did? They played Indiana's fight song for them. There you go.
That's class.
Yeah. The Indiana fans that were there, and actually that was pretty cool to see Indiana fans at tailgate at the game. But so I don't think the band needs to go, and hopefully, I have not done any half-ass research over this at all. But there's 2 things that I was worried about. We're going to see a buttload of dumb Venmo things, too much talking about Busch Light and Venmo supply. It's really hammering our stereotype that we drink Busch Light and eat corn. That's it. And then the thing about the band taking over and doing this. I know it says in here, like, rivalry game, you throw the records out. Yeah. Spencer Petras says never played in front of a hostile crowd. Okay. I think the program that he's coming from is getting him ready for it, and if he cracks under pressure, then we'll know.
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
know what we have, you know? So, I do like this. Erickson says in the Heritage Pub Facebook comment thread, I was going to say something nice about Iowa State, but my comment got intercepted by Raleigh Moss and returned for a touchdown. That's true. Hey, Easer A says the band isn't going to any away games this year.
Well, there you go.
And he says it again. Jay, the band isn't going. Good. And he says it's more than another game. You can tell yourself all you want that it's more than another game. That's not what Ferentz is telling him, and that's not what Tyrone Tracy was saying either on Twitter.
No.
So you can tell yourself that, but I'm not too big into that. It's let's see, 2:30 game. The softball schedule is looking to be in my favor. I think we got games at 8, 12, and 140.
That 140 game better go quick.
I'll be fine. First half or whatever else, I'll just have it off in the backgrounds. I'll have my AirPods in, listening to it, whatever else. So that's good. So we have the afternoon off for that. There'll be other games going on as well that night. So Saturday is looking good. Friday is homecoming for Bettendorf. The parade's on Thursday, so we're going to the parade on Thursday. We'll be at the game. They play Muscatine. I haven't really even looked at right now what the rest of the MAC looks like. I should probably reach out to Koss and see if he wants to talk to us at any time soon.
Big game also in the MAC is Downport Assumption at North Scott.
Are they in the same A? Are they in the same district?
That's a good question. We'll have to ask Koss.
I don't know if it's 3. Is North Scott 4A and they're 3A?
Something like that. But it's a big game.
That's a big game. They're in the same A. Other than that, it's just
correct.
I hate to. I mean, it's North Scott should be favored in that game easily. I mean, good job for them. They beat Western Dubuque last week, which has kind of been a thorn in their side in the last couple of years.
Exactly.
So they came out strong. They looked really good. Tippett's really got that program going in the right direction. There will be games going around. We have to look and see what PV is doing as well. But Assumption at North Scott is an interesting one. Did you see anything about Assumption's new field?
Looks good. Looks really, really nice.
Yeah. They're still working on the seating and everything else. They encourage fans that went to, bring their chairs and whatnot, which is fine. Did you see the lights?
Those are nice.
That is a real cool thing, and I think that's a nice addition. That when they score, they're going to flash the lights and everything, and the kids didn't know about it, the fans didn't know about it. So good job by Assumption keeping that under wraps. So we got that going on as well. All right, let's talk about. Let's do a little NFL football before we take a break here. The AFC is highly regarded as probably the strongest division, the conference out of the two.
I agree.
Do you feel like your Chiefs are going to be the representative of the AFC in the Super Bowl?
I hope so.
Well, I'd say
I hope so.
Well, of course you hope so.
Yeah,
We all hope that our team
but
does
then
whatever
when
else.
you got to throw in, you got to play. Chiefs got to play home against Buffalo. Got Cleveland to start out with.
At home.
At home.
Listen, you've got Cleveland, Chargers, Buffalo. By no means is that easy at all. That's 3 out of the first 5 weeks, but they're all at home. On the road, the Philadelphia week 4, meh.
Nah.
At Baltimore,
Washington, no. The Tennessee's at Tennessee weeks. Am I looking at right?
What's that?
Week 7, Kansas City.
Week 6 at Washington.
So it'd be
week 7 at Tennessee.
At Tennessee. Tennessee would be. Tennessee's no slouch either. Then division-wise, it's
they look good. I'm pretty sure that Adrian has them going undefeated. I don't see that happening. Something dumb like Las Vegas will get them tripped up for some reason.
They did that.
Yeah.
Last year, Vegas did that.
The at Tennessee, maybe. That might be the game where Derrick Henry's legs fall off finally.
He's so good.
Because I think it's happening.
He's so good.
I did not touch him anywhere in fantasy, and we'll talk about your fantasy later. Because I just completed, Jesus, what did I do? Like my 4th fantasy draft. Yeah.
How do you keep track of all that?
I don't. That's why I don't win. I just get annoyed, and then I forget about waiver wires, and then I wake up on a Wednesday to emails that say this waiver wire transaction went through, and I was like, oh yeah, I didn't do it in any of them. So.
Or didn't have time.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
So, yeah, and Easy Rays are right. That's the one thing I was going to come out about Kansas City. 3 years in a row to make it so. Buffalo is the darling right now. And so is Cleveland. I think that's going to be the eye-opening game for Cleveland because I think they're going to realize I think Kansas City wins this game. And I think it's also a moment where Cleveland, to a point where I think Kansas City covers spread. And I think Cleveland's like, we need to change some things, just a little bit more tweak. I think they've tweaked a lot in the offseason, but I'm not ready to buy in on them yet. I think it's the type of thing that Cleveland will be like, all right, we need to do it we need to get things going. And Houston don't care about it home. Chicago don't care about it home. At Minnesota, we don't care about home. This is the Cleveland schedule.
Okay.
At Chargers, don't care. They focus on everything by week 8. We have everything tightened down because that's when we start within our own division.
Pittsburgh's not
Pittsburgh.
a slouch either. Even though Big Ben came back, and
it's all going to come down to the offensive line
Yep.
for Pittsburgh. Their OC, he's going to be moving some parts around to try to give different options for Matt Canada's their new OC for Big Ben to see things, people moving motion, not so much stuck in his ways, trying to drop down to second or third receiver, check down. But if anything, they know how to use their offensive line to the advantage of their weapons, and we'll see that out of Najee Harris. But like I said, it will be. That's what Cleveland's going to do. They're going to. I think that's what's going to happen. Kansas City covers, and then they go, okay, we need to tighten the final bits and pieces down before Week 8, and in between, we'll win. 5 out of the next 6 is what I think. Win at Houston, win at Chicago. Win at Houston, win at Chicago, at Minnesota. Lose on the road at the Chargers. Win against Arizona. Win against Denver at home. Those are all home games except for at Minnesota. Kansas City, they obviously Week 3, that's when they begin the AFC West at home against the Chargers.
Week 9, Green Bay.
Yeah, that's at 1, but that's at home.
That'll be flipped to a Sunday night game.
Do you think?
On whoever Week 9 is for Sunday night. Kansas City and Green Bay could flop that.
I don't know if they can flex that early in the season.
Maybe they wait till like Week 3 or Week 4 and then to see when they can flex it. Because it all depends on like win-loss record, and worry about, what's Rodgers going to do this year?
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Well, Buffalo, Cleveland, Kansas City. The West is Chargers, maybe out of the West. I doubt it though.
Chargers, maybe.
Yeah, I worry more about a sophomore
not New
slump.
England.
Not first year coach. Staley's going to be out there. I don't think the Chargers are going to.
Tennessee. I think Tennessee will push them again.
No. I see Indiana coming out of the South.
If Indianapolis can get
Indianapolis, that's what I see. I'm sorry. I have 0 shares of Derrick Henry in fantasy football because that's how much I believe.
I didn't draft him either.
That's how much I believe he's not going to. He's going to hold up at all. So, but
because Ryan Tannehill is just one-dimensional.
Yeah, it's Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Like okay.
they're gonna
like
look for the run, and if you can stop the run.
When you call someone Tannehill, but you do it to be ironic, that's not.
No.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. It's just like, Tannehill.
But everybody's like, Mahomes is one-dimensional. No, he's actually he's two-dimensional. When you can run and you can throw it.
Well, he's still the favorite to win the MVP. So that's.
Come on.
There's no doubt about that. Mahomes is then Josh Allen will be right there at 2. We can take a look at that as well. But we do have to take a break before we prep to talk to Emily Van Buskirk at 1 o'clock here about college football and more. We'll be right back here. Don't Hassle So Local on ESPN 1170 AM.
The Rock says he's going to make your Rudy Poo candy ass famous. You like that? You like that? Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
This is Lobo from Lobo Salsa. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Renewal by Anderson. When it came time to replace our old drafty windows, we opted for quality with style, installed by professionals.
Renewal by Anderson.
I'm Sam Hare with Renewal by Anderson. And in September, we're enjoying back-to-school savings. We can give you a great education on energy savings with our Energy Star Partner of the Year windows from Renewal by Anderson. Buy one window and get one 40% off. Plus, with our easy payment options, there's no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. Sorry about all that math, but the smarter you are about energy savings with Renewal by Anderson windows, the more comfortable your home will be. Buy one window and get one 40% off. Back to school savings on now. Visit us at our showroom in Davenport or online at renewalbyanderson.com.
Renewal by Anderson. We love our new windows.
Hot fall deals now at Tyson's.
Through September 12th, save 10% on Western boots for the whole family from Justin, Durango, and Roper. Save on assorted t-shirts and jeans from Levi, Key, and Lee. Take your pick of accessories from Erickson, including ratchet straps, loading ramps, and more. Leave your car sparkling with Viking Car Care products with 15% off. Don't forget, save 25% off select in-stock tires. All these great deals and more now through September 12th. Tyson's Home, Farm, Auto.
Elite Sportsbook is offering a $20 free bet each week for those who place at least 3 wagers of $50 or more on college football matchups. Just place your bets Thursday, Friday, or Saturday each week in September to qualify. That's up to $80 in free bets available in September. Plus, new signups can take advantage of their first bet being risk-free up to $500. Download the app today and play your game with Elite Sportsbook. Offer valid for a limited time. Must be 21. Visit EliteSportsbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Janae and Golick Jr.
There are not a lot of places that actually get to claim a cartoon leprechaun. I am one of those places here. And so if anyone should understand what the Boston Celtics faithful, because I saw Big Baby Davis, I think Kevin Garnett, both spoke out defending Lucky after Kyrie Irving just went too far and stomped on him at half court of TD Garden. I think it's pretty fair to say I love Notre Dame more than most people love anything. Like, it's a weird obsession. Notre Dame's kind of like weird like that in general. And even I don't know if I missed the day they were handing out this lifelong competitive juice. I could not find it in me to get upset if another team decided to do that to the Irish. It's like I'd be more worried about the fact that we just got blowed the hell out. You can do whatever you want. Throw 40-yard touchdowns at the end of the game. If we're losing by 40, I'm sitting over there wondering why were we so bad that we lost by 40.
Janae and Golick Jr. 3 to 6 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
From lines of credit in Chicagoland to equipment finance loans in the Quad Cities to better cash flow in Milwaukee, First Midwest Bank is committed to using our local knowledge and ideas to help our clients get their business momentum back. Visit firstmidwest.com/commercial-lending. You have plans, we have ideas. First Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
It's time to rise and grind. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
Julio Jones does move on. He will be with the Tennessee Titans. And Key, you were shooting it down, saying it's not a good fit.
You're looking at him and you're saying production is going to come because they're going to throw the ball. They're not going to change their style. They've gone to the AFC Championship game, a couple playoff appearances on the backs of that running back in Derrick Henry. You think about the philosophy and style that Vrabel wants to play. They want to be big up front. They want to run the football. So you trade for Julio Jones when many people think Julio Jones is on the way backside of his career based on injuries. But I don't necessarily like it for Julio, and I don't know what to make of it for the Titans because of the style of play. They're not going to be the Seattle Seahawks, the New England Patriots, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not going to do that.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
An online presence was important, but now it's a necessity. Town Square offers premium website services that get you new leads every day. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to receive a free competitive analysis to help you find more local customers online and help grow your business faster. Plus, a dedicated marketing specialist so you don't have to mess with updating a website. It's fast and easy with no contracts. Cancel at any time. Be one of the first to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on ESPN 1170 AM. Go to mylocalcustomers.com.
Your local sports show in the Quad Cities is on ESPN 1170. Don't hassle us. We're local. Noon till 2 on the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
We are back in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by the R-Bar in Downport on Utica. Talking with Kyle in studio. Before we get back into it, let's look at some scores from yesterday. The Minnesota Twins shut out the Cleveland Indians in Cleveland. The Pirates won at home against the Tigers 3-2. Mets over the Marlins 9-4. Orioles hosted the Kansas City Royals. They won 7-3. Blue Jays over the Yankees 5-1. Tampa Bay Rays 12-7 in Boston over the Red Sox. Braves won at home over the Nationals. Reds beat the Cubs in Wrigley. Brewers won 10-0 to the Phillies. Dodgers 7-2 over the Cardinals. Albert Pujols hit a home run there at Busch Stadium. Astros went to extra innings against the Mariners. They won 5-4. Giants over the Rockies 12-3. Diamondbacks lost at home to the Rangers 3-1. White Sox go to Oakland. They win 6-3. And the Angels shut out the Padres in San Diego. Blake Snell, though, did throw another gem of a game yesterday for them. Again, this is his back-to-back 7 innings pitch and 10-plus strikeouts and 1 hit or fewer allowed. So it was the bullpen that kind of left him out there. Wander Franco of the Tampa Bay Rays just broke an American League record. Most consecutive games reaching base under the age of 21. The old record was 36 games held by Mickey Mantle. The Major League record is 43 games under 21 held by Frank Robinson. He did that streak in 1956. So he's got his eye on about 6 more games to break the Major League record. Right now, looking at your postseason races, the Rays are leading their division, Houston's leading the West, and the White Sox lead the Central. If it were to end right now, the Yankees and the Red Sox make it in as wild cards. Toronto's 2 games back, Seattle's 3 games back, Oakland's 3.5 games back. The Giants currently lead the National League West. Brewers lead the National League Central, and the Braves in the East. The Dodgers and the Padres, if it were to end right now, Dodgers and the Reds would be the ones in the wild card right now. San Diego's on the outside looking in just right now. Today we have a game starting at 1:10. Seattle's at Houston. Then we have one at 2:10. San Francisco Giants at Colorado Rockies. 2:40. Texas Rangers at Arizona. Then we start going in the night games. Minnesota's at Cleveland. Detroit's at Pittsburgh. Miami plays host to the Mets. Royals in Baltimore continue play. Toronto and Yankees as well. Rays in Boston. 6:10 first pitch. Nationals at the Braves. Cincinnati and the Cubs. Alec Mills for the Cubs. 6-6 on the year. 4.25 ERA. Brewers. Freddie Peralta is going to throw against Phillies. Kyle Gibson. St. Louis. Adam Wainwright. 14-7. 2.91 against the Dodgers. 6:45 first pitch. Padres and Angels. Yu Darvish. 7-9. And the White Sox play the late game at 8:40. Dallas Keuchel. 8-8 on the year. 5.22 ERA against Frankie Montas. 11-9. 3.68. Happy birthday to Garrett Cole. He turns 31 today. So,
and Wainwright's coming back for another year.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's we can't, with all the hype, finally having fans back in the stands, we can't forget about baseball. And postseason's going to be right around the corner, which is always a lot of fun as well. So I'm getting excited about that. Yeah, it's just not, it's Brewers, okay. White Sox, we just need to start getting a little bit more hyped around this area over these 2 teams. That's all. And I'm fine with cheering on the White Sox or whatever else. I think it's time for, it's always fun to see like when a plan comes together. I guess that's the old A-team in me. Hannibal, when he light up a cigar and says, I love it when a plan comes together. I liked it when Houston did it. Then I found out they cheated. Then I didn't like it much anymore. So if I find out the White Sox cheated, I won't be too excited. But
true, and they got Tony La Russa, former manager of the Cardinals, all those years, winning the 2 World Series.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a great hire, but it seems to be working out, and that's why I'm not a GM of a baseball team. So
makes sense.
Yeah, it
makes
is what
sense.
it is. Like I said, later on today, I'm going to tape a little segment for the K Gym out of Cedar Rapids, the GYM. That's with Brommel Camp. I'm excited to talk to them. I'll be doing that for Elite. Jake's out of town, so he asked me to step in for him. So we're going to be looking at some things, pros versus Joes, and we're also going to be looking at some of the Iowa lines that Kyle and I already talked about briefly. Is there anything like going through this college football season that you're looking forward to, Kyle?
Just to watch it and
Just
enjoy
to watch it. Yeah.
It's, if you guys have never been to a college game, definitely go. It's the atmosphere and it's the fans just get into it more than I think in an NFL game. And I've been to 2 NFL games, one being the Chiefs at Indianapolis Colts, and the other one was seeing Michael Vick come back into the St. Louis Dome and play the Rams. And you can see the crowd, but I think the anticipation of college football being back with fans is better than NFL.
Yeah, but I also think the college thing is
Even these guys are getting paid too.
Listen, you trip up, you're in trouble.
Yes.
So every game matters, except for like right now, if you're Clemson, you're looking at it like just win out. Just win out, we're still in.
That's what everybody.
That's what Clemson's thinking.
And they said that with Georgia as well.
Yeah.
You lose, you're out. You know, you can still win out. But Bama just looks like old Bama. They just reload.
I'm fine with Kaker and Adrian saying that Ohio State will not lose a Big Ten game. I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Probably Oklahoma is a slip up here and there. Do I believe in Texas A&M at 5? This is the Associated Press rankings that came out last time. Not really, but they have a game against Colorado, which they should cover that spread. I'll break that one down for Elite later. Clemson only fell 4 spots to 6. It's annoying winning out. It's annoying that they know just win out and know they're going to go. I mean, they've got to. It's annoying. It really is. Notre Dame, go spoil their party. You know what? I hope Notre Dame. I can only hope Notre Dame gets this 4 spot and Clemson's 5, and then now Clemson gets all mad and be like, well, yeah, you're the one that let him in the ACC and then let him out for a year.
Yep.
You could have beat him yourself if you would have forced him to stay in it. So that would be a situation that I'd like to see. Obviously, am I looking at the college? Let's see. Maybe I'm looking at the coaches poll. There we go. There's the AP. It's still the same thing. 6. Cincinnati 7. Notre Dame 8. Iowa State 9. Iowa 10. Obviously, one of those is going to have to lose. Fall out. The biggest climbers this week was Iowa and Penn State. They both jumped 8 spots in the ranking.
Penn State could play some defense, apparently.
Yeah, that one I felt confident going into. I like the new offensive coordinator coming in. Some people didn't like Sean Clifford or whatever else. I like the OC that they have coming in. I think that's, from all reports, that's who we wanted like 2 years ago, James Franklin. I don't care for him that much. I don't really care for either coach. And, it's more biased than anything else that I have. It's nothing. They never did anything to me personally, but they're just annoying to me. So kind of like coach of Iowa State, but the thing about Campbell is I just think he's leaving at any day now. I don't care how many times he's.
I think they were saying that 2 years ago when it's like, we beat so and so, and then there was talk on he was going to go to the NFL and.
Well, supposedly turned down the Detroit job. So if Notre Dame stumbles, Kaker thinks he'll be out at Notre Dame. So
it could be a pretty decent fit for him.
But like I said, well, how about he has to win this game first or whatever else? Because if you're not winning rivalry games.
And that's why I said one game at a time.
Well, he's not looking at it like that if he's trying to add to his resume, add to his stock. So. I mean, he's got to feel a little bit of pressure. Before we call Emily, have you watched Titletown on Netflix?
I have not.
Well, I don't know what you're doing with your free time besides fantasy football drafts like everyone else. But yeah, there's one scene where the coach is like, "Oh, there's a lot of pressure on this game." He doesn't think he's mic'd up at the time. At least he was honest. So
I'll have to watch. I just moved into a condo in Eldridge not too long ago, so trying to get everything set up.
Well, that would be something to,
I might have to.
Once you have the internet going there, I would highly suggest watching that. But I mean, now you're getting in the thick of things, though.
Yep.
Once you hit Thursday, you're off and running in football, so you don't have as much free time. So maybe tonight if you can do it.
Probably.
Yeah. I've got a booked schedule tonight, though. We've got 2 league games out at TBK. We got a flag football game. The line remains the same for Ben. 1.5 flags pulled. Half a touchdown scored. I still say bet the under and touchdown scored. Bet the over and flags pulled. He now knows what the line is. Now he's fully aware of that I talk about that I do prop bets for my son. That's right, on his flag football games. And now he's fully aware of him that he wants to be aggressive and he wants to pull more flags. He knows that the touchdown thing isn't his call. He's got to get his number called by the coach. So, flag football game tonight, 2 league games. And then, MTV The Challenge. Man, I got some writing to do. And I've got to plug in, after the show, obviously I do the radio thing. Then after that, I've got to put in the results of our auction draft because I haven't done it in the past 10 days because I've been busy. And, people are getting a little upset in the league, and they're like, hey, you got to get your stuff done. And I agree. So I got to do that this afternoon as well.
Busy man, Jay. Busy man.
I try to stay busy, but no one's as busy as Emily Van Buskirk, and we're going to call her right now as soon as I don't mess it up. And I don't know what I did wrong there, but we're going to call Emily and talk to her, see where she's going this week. She is our college football analyst. She's the best in the business.
Amen to that.
What am I doing wrong? I got it, everything in here. It's all good.
Did you hit the call button?
No, it just goes to idle. So,
see if she can call in.
No, I can. Well, if the line isn't working, and it worked the other day, no, that works. Okay. Well, I love it when I have these technical difficulties on the air, whatever else, you know. So, let's do it. Jeez. We might just have to call her from my phone. This is why you definitely need a producer on this show. And it just goes to idle. All right, I'm just going to call her on here.
Hello.
Hey, Emily, it's Jay. Sorry to call you from my line. I know you're probably used to the 391-3776, but I don't know what's wrong with the board, so I called you from mine. But I'm glad you still answer. You weren't like, nah, I'm sending this guy to a voicemail. I'm waiting for a more important call from the Hassle Castle. So.
Never. When your name pops up, whether it's a text or a phone call, I always respond. So.
I appreciate that. Kyle's in the studio with me. Say hi, Kyle.
How we doing, Emily?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Thank you.
Okay, Emily, last week, where were you?
I was at Tulane versus Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the game where they painted Tulane on the Oklahoma's field? Does that sound right?
Yes, that is the game. Tulane was the home team as Oklahoma was letting them host and retain their home team status. The game was supposed to be at Yulman Stadium in New Orleans. Obviously, Hurricane Ida had different plans for that. So the Tulane team has been hunkering down in Birmingham, Alabama, practicing at UAB and Alabama. And so, Oklahoma opened doors, said you guys can still be the home team. They wore their home colors, which was fun to see both teams in the color jerseys. And they let them retain all of the sales from the game, the ticket sales. So pretty big deal for Tulane. And it ended up being a great game. So
yeah.
A lot of points scored, weren't they?
There was a lot of points. And if Tulane had extended that last drive, if Pratt had just fallen literally half a yard more, then they could have ended up winning it. Instead, they lost by 5. But a lot of people were surprised by the Green Wave, especially their defense. It was incredible. They picked Spencer Rattler off twice. He looked less than perfect, in my opinion, although sitting in that press box, every 5 words was front runner for the Heisman, which I have to respectfully disagree with after seeing him play in person.
Really?
Yeah, not super impressed with his, he just looks the same on every drive, and it's almost like he expects his talent to kind of carry it. And there were times that he needed to adjust, and you just didn't see those adjustments. And I don't know if it's because Tulane kind of surprised them a little bit, especially on defense, because everyone was looking towards Tulane's offense to lead the way with Pratt in his second year, and he had all these great options. Chip Long as their new offensive coordinator, so people were expecting that to lead the way, but the defense is really what saved the game for the Green Wave, and I think Rattler wasn't expecting that, and they definitely didn't adjust accordingly. So
well, it's a fun game to go to. Circumstances, yes. That probably gave you a lot to work on storyline and everything else. I saw, was it on? Did you make a TikTok of it?
Yeah, we did.
Finally, yes.
Yes, we're my friend and I, Kim Montoro, photographer. We are teaming up as a all-female team to cover games this year, and so we're gonna kind of record one at each experience and show people kind of what it's like to cover a game as this photographer-writer duo in college football. So it's been fun so far. We're heading to Ohio State this weekend for the Oregon game, so we're very excited.
I want to remind you that I was the one that said, I know during the pandemic you were making TikToks, and then I called you out and said you're not making enough TikToks. So when you blow up, I'm the one that encouraged this from the beginning.
I don't know that we'll see it blow up per se, but I did make one recently about fullbacks that people seem to enjoy. So I'm gonna have to
Good.
figure out a way to do more of those.
So Oregon at Ohio State.
Yes.
Game day elects not to go there, but Emily Van Buskirk does.
Yes.
Love it.
I don't pay attention to game day.
Neither do I.
They make the wrong choices all the time.
This one, I mean, I was really shocked. I thought Iowa at Iowa State would probably be option 1C. I thought they would pick a military.
You have a huge game between Navy and Air Force.
Yes.
I mean, maybe not for every. It's the 9/11 anniversary, and there's all these ties between the teams and the actual date and what happened. So reading about that, I thought maybe that would be something they would honor as well. But
yeah, I thought that. And then Oregon, then Oregon, Ohio State would have been my next one. But you know what? Iowa jumping up 8 spots into number 10. That's a big deal. Now you've got the first time that they're both ranked matchup. Iowa State has not, covered spread at Iowa State. I don't think they've never been favored in the last 20 years. In the last 20 meetings against Iowa and Iowa State, so they're favored by 4.5. Real quick though, let's talk about Ohio State, Oregon though. Ohio State played on Thursday night. They looked a little shaky at first. They basically, if you got it at 13.5, they covered spread. If not, they pushed at 14. Minnesota lost their running back for the year, but they lost him early in the second half. What do you like out of this game?
I think the biggest thing that's being made out of this game is how each team did versus their prior opponent. And I think that's not really, again, a good metric for measuring teams heading into week 2, because as we've talked about on the show before, week 1 is week 1. It's kind of its own entity when it comes to how the teams do. They come into those weeks not, unless you're a week 0 team, you don't really know what you have, and you have to work out all the kinks as the clock ticks down. So there was a lot of very surprising, games, and FCS teams really thrived in this first week. So, but you can't take too much stock into the losses or the wins. You just kind of have to adjust. So the teams that make the best adjustments moving forward are going to be the teams that win in week 2. So with that being said, Ohio State, I credit PJ Fleck more than I discredit, how good Ohio State is, because he's incredible. And being at Big Ten Media Day, he was so much energy, he was so excited, and you could just see that when Minnesota took the field. So I don't think it was so much Ohio State wasn't good or wasn't, the team that we think they are. It's just they weren't as excited to get out on that field as Minnesota was. So I think that's what you chalk that up to. Ohio State is still incredibly talented, and especially they're going to be at home. You have to give them at least 7 points for being at the Shoe on Saturday. And then you look at Oregon and everyone says, oh, well, they barely hung on to beat a Fresno State team. That Fresno State team is very good this year, coached by, Tedford. And Oregon is not the Oregon that we've seen before.
Nope.
The athletic, high-flying team. This is a more physical, pounding Oregon team. So it's going to be slower, and it's going to be more painful to watch, if that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying, but no, I do. I get it. It's not going to be that the high flying that you're used to type of thing. A lot of points scored. You're saying that it's just going to be drawn out and beat you down slowly if they can?
Yeah, because you look at Mario Cristobal. He's an offensive line, former offensive lineman, and that's kind of his mark on the program, is that he's made it more physical and more, punch you in the mouth type football, less of the fast hurry up that we saw under Chip Kelly that kind of made Oregon who it was. So the identity shift is definitely something that people have to adjust to. But a lot of things are being placed on Kayvon Thibodeau, and if he's going to be back, because that's a huge defensive player to slow down Ohio State. I don't know that you need to place 100% of stock in that. If he comes back, great. He has an ankle sprain, so he's day-to-day. We don't know if he's going to play. But really, Oregon has to be more efficient on offense. They gave Fresno State so many opportunities to win the game. And again, that's a week 1 mistake thing that I'm pretty sure Mario Cristobal will have cleaned up in time for this game. So I think the point spread is like 14. I would pick Ohio State to win because they're at home, but I think it's going to be a close, fun game to watch.
Even here, they've put a hook on it at 14.5. That seems a bit a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, have you heard anything about Oregon and how they've figured out a way to create? They'd made a deal with Delta, I believe, to create like direct flights to their away games.
No, I've not seen that.
I heard this last week. I'm dead serious. Like they have a direct flight to Columbus to fly there for their fans, so they don't have to like go through like 2 or 3 stops or whatever else. And for a lot of away games, they've already made a deal with Delta to do this. If they can get into Ohio State, which I'm not saying Oregon traditionally travels the best, but this might be.
They usually do pretty well, though, because Oregon fans are pretty dedicated. But they're also conservative when it comes to, I will say this, when it comes to Corona and COVID and the pandemic, they're probably, that state is a little more conservative when it comes to that. So I don't know how much they'll be traveling in regards to that, being a state that's being really careful about it.
What other games do you have your eyes on this week?
That is a really good question. I was hoping to start, well, this is one that not people are going to care about, but Friday we were kind of hoping to get to Coastal Carolina. They're playing Kansas, which, at first blush is like not super exciting, but it's a big deal for a team that's trying to assert its dominance, being a smaller program and beating a team like Kansas, even though they're not great, it's still a Big 12, Power 5 FBS opponent. So I'm actually interested to keep an eye on how Coastal Carolina does against a big team like that,
Well, they beat them last year, right? Or the year before? What was it last year or the year before?
I think it was 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years ago, too.
Yeah.
And the story about that one was when Coastal Carolina was beating them, like, their defense was like, oh, my God, they're terrible.
What is happening?
Yeah, like, these guys don't want anything to do with us. Like, it was like, it wasn't a trash talking. It was like this, the thing that just came to a breath of, like, life to them. Like, oh, my gosh, we're so much better than them. And so if you put that, it's the truth. And if you put that as poster material, Coastal Carolina is favored by 25.5 in this game. Kansas needs to show up and do something here. And like you said, Coastal Carolina is still trying to establish themselves. It's not a situation where Coastal Carolina is not going to take their foot off the gas because they want it. They want that press in there, and you need to have that press for a school like Coastal Carolina. Look, we're talking about it 2 years later. Yeah,
they're so much fun to watch. Their players are incredible. Teddy Gallagher is one of my favorite guys in college football. Their coach is hilarious. I think, like, if you're not doing anything Friday night, you should tune into this game because if anything, it's going to be entertaining. From the fans to the mullets on the field to, whatever's going on in their team bench, it's going to be incredible. And then another game on Saturday I'm excited about is number 5 Texas A&M goes to Colorado.
Okay.
Now,
talk to me about that one.
Yeah, people are like, okay, whatever. Like, that's a top-ranked team coming into a place where they're in their second year under head coach Carl Durrell. But look at this. Colorado doesn't have a lot to lose, right? And the North right now in Pac-12 is a mess, like an absolute mess. So why not the Buffaloes? They looked decent in their first game against Northern Colorado. And again, it's week 1. It's not a great opponent, but they worked out a lot of kinks and they picked it up. So what I liked about that game is they made adjustments, they fixed mistakes, and they looked cohesive, towards the end of the game. So Folsom Field is not an easy place to play. I don't care if people want to say, oh, the altitude won't affect Texas A&M. It will a little bit. It's loud.
Sure
the fans are passionate. It's the altitude. I have a hard time walking up the stairs there at the stadium, Folsom Field. So, and you've got the live Buffalo run. It's Ralphie Six's first year. She did her first run last week. So that's such a fire Colorado fan. So I'm not saying that they'll upset him, probably not, but it could make for an interesting game to see Texas A&M try and settle in.
I can see that. How's Colorado do? You said they worked out kinks. Their quarterback situation.
Yeah, they have a young quarterback, and it's his first time. So, against Northern Colorado, he looked a little shaky in the beginning, but I think in the second half and towards the end of the game, he kind of figured it together. He was stringing together passes. He didn't make as many mistakes, and that's going to be ultimately what it is limiting mistakes and having his offensive line support him and give him that time so he can make good decisions. So,
have you followed anything about the Iowa State game?
I have not gotten to dig into it. I've been doing a lot of AAC stuff this week, so I haven't. You hit me with some highlights there.
Well, Iowa came out. They were slightly favored against Indiana at home last week, and basically just came right out and punched Indiana in the mouth.
Right.
They won 34-6. And nothing against Indiana. And hear me out on this. And I said this at the beginning of the show, and I said it yesterday as well. Before kickoff, we kind of put everything together about Indiana. Great story last year, right?
Right.
Not in front of any fans.
I love Tom. I think he's incredible. So.
Okay, but that run isn't in front of fans.
Okay.
You don't. It's not easy to go into Kinnick ranked and think you're going to come out with a W or whatever else. They did not. They were not ready for the just under 70,000 Iowa fans to be yelling. They couldn't hear anything on the line. Penix looked off. There's 2 false starts by 77 in the first half alone. I mean, he flat out turned around and said he grabbed both ears and was like, and then shrugged, meaning I cannot hear. They had wide receivers moving tight ends to the other side of the field, meaning you're not lining up. They just weren't ready for it. And
2 pick sixes.
Yeah, 2 pick sixes, and there should have been more. The D-backs dropped some balls, and Iowa dropped balls too, so it hurt Petrus's numbers. But you have that 56-yard run, and you have the pick six, and you're down 14-0. It's not easy to come back. Coach Allen, great coach. I think the idea of, hey, we want our program to be like Iowa. If you're going to come out and say that, then you should all recognize he's not saying we want to have a program like Iowa. We feel like we're ready to run with them. It never said that. It was, we look up to Iowa. We want to be there. The only thing I'm not quite certain about what Tom Allen did, what he's trying to pick, what he's poking the bear about. But Iowa's lined up to kick a field goal before first half, and Tom Allen burned all 3 field goals at snap at the end of the first half.
All timeouts, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, he iced the kicker 3 times.
Yeah, not a good. Not the first half. Second half,
well,
I can get it.
You know what? Tom Allen is a special teams guy, and that's one of the things I talked to him about at Big Ten Media Day. He's a huge kicker, punter, special teams guy. So if he did that, there was a good reason to do it. Okay, he thought it might. Did the kid miss?
Nope.
Oh, well then, yeah, that sucks. But he tried.
He tried. And if I was that kid, I probably would have turned around and bowed or blown kisses or whatever else after that many times. But he didn't.
I might have as well. You know what's funny? You're talking about Iowa, and I was able to hang out with George Kittle last week.
I did see that, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really incredible event for Dwight Clark, and he was named the first ever, recipient of that award. It speaks to his character as a person on the team, and the person's elected based on those things. So I was able to kind of sit with him for a while at the awards ceremony, and we talked a lot of college football. And one of the things he told me, being an Iowa guy, I said, did you watch the Nebraska-Illinois game by any chance? Because remember I talked about how Rebel Lima has this Illinois team going. I'm very excited for them. And I don't know if beating Nebraska is really that big a deal given how terrible they are and how annoying Scott Frost is. But I asked him if he watched it, and he said, yeah. He said he won money betting against Nebraska. And I about died laughing when George Kittle told me that.
Yeah,
the hate is real.
The hate is real. Well, the problem with, if you want to talk about Illinois, how they really got me on a parlay on Saturday because they cannot beat
UTSA.
Yeah, UTSA. So
there's no slouch in their conference either.
I mean, that's fair, and that's 100%. That's what you look at after a big win, against Nebraska in that week 0. You cannot let down after that just because you're facing someone that isn't, as big of a deal. And so in that case, Brett Bielema's got to go back to the drawing board and be like, get his guys refocused. But I'm just going to linger on the Nebraska game because that was so much more fun to watch.
It was a lot of fun. And Illinois goes to Virginia this week. They're 10-point road dogs. Speaking of, we mentioned TikToks or whatever else. Have you pulled up the video yet of Scott Frost and he's not into sloganeering? Because we gotta keep going with it. We gotta do something with this.
I have the video of me asking him the question and him saying that. Yes.
Yeah, after that game, we talked about it on the Friday because that was a Thursday night game. We talked about it and we're like, well, maybe he does need a mantra. Maybe he needs to start working slow.
I think he does. He shouldn't have been so quick to dismiss me when I asked him that because I think he might have jinxed himself a little bit there. There's nothing wrong with using words and slogans to motivate your team, and if you think that you're above all that, well, then you're about to get a really big reality check this season. If I were him, I'd be employing every tactic I could think of, like voodoo dolls and, sacrifices, anything I could think of to try and get back to where this team needs to be because he is struggling, and it's not going to bode well for him at the end.
Well, they play host to that mighty Buffalo team, So this weekend, Nebraska does, and they're only 13.
Buffalo's pretty good though. To be fair,
all right, they're 13.
They run so many fullbacks. It's gonna be epic.
Why do I feel like I'm hitting all the right darts? Let's see. You got Colorado because you've run with Ralphie before. We get to do that.
Oh my God,
now we hit Buffalo, and because you love fullbacks or whatever else. Iowa's got a fullback too.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm aware. Normally, I'd be talking about Cal at TCU, but Cal played such a terrible game against Nevada. I have no faith in them. And I'd be talking about Washington and Michigan, but Washington put up 7 points on Montana. Literally looked like the worst team I've ever seen. So they're going to go into Michigan and get smacked. And then Stanford USC is usually a big storyline because SC game week's everything. But they literally could not score against Kansas State through 3 quarters. So I just don't – I have no idea what to do about any of those things. So I just didn't bring them up until now.
We were talking about – and you've been around a lot of college programs and we were talking earlier about the Iowa State game and where the approach is sometimes a little bit different, where I do feel, I think Kyle does as well, but some people on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread are different, saying like, is it a rivalry game? It's an in-state rivalry. Iowa State. Because I'm gonna get to my point here because it's a trophy game for Iowa. They want to win the Cy-Hawk Trophy. Iowa State really looks more towards this game. Iowa looks at it like it's just business as usual. They actually care more about conference. My own opinion out of this. But when it comes to rivalry games in state, what do you normally see? What do you think about it? Like, do you think the coaches actually care more than what they give to the press?
100%, especially in state, because it deals with recruiting. You look at even a game like, for example, there's a couple going on this weekend. Florida is heading to South Florida.
Yep.
Now, South Florida and Jeff Scott it's a nightmare. So this is not the game that would normally be, but let's say it was UCF. Florida UCF game is a huge deal for in-state recruiting because you're looking at which school am I going to pick up, which guys can we sway to come here, and look at the kind of teams we get to play. So I think for Iowa State, that's a huge look. And for Stanford USC, normally that kind of game has a lot of implications because it's not only a north-south matchup, but the schools hate each other. They both, tout the same things, and they both go after the same guys, and they lose recruits to each other all the time. So it's a chance for bragging rights. And if coaches aren't going to come out and say that all the time, although I feel like Chip Kelly would 100% come out and say that. And when he goes to play USC, we'll get to see. But it is a big deal for the coaches, and there's a lot more than just the game itself on the line.
Well, speaking of UCLA and the Bruins, what do you think of them so far in the past 2 games they played?
I have been telling everybody before the season started that this is Chip Kelly's year. I spoke with him on the phone, about a month ago, and we didn't talk too much UCLA. We spoke a lot about New Hampshire. I'm doing a story on his former school and his former head coach who has, the deepest coaching roots in college football because he does. And we did talk a little bit about the season and how he was approaching, and he sounded so seriously dead on for this year. It had me bought in, even though I hadn't even seen them play or heard anything about the guys on the team. And then you look at these first 2 games, obviously Hawaii not super impressive, but they did what they needed to do and they took care of business, which is more than can be said for a lot of teams in week 1. And then they come in and just smack LSU across the face. That game in and of itself, if you weren't a believer in the Bruins, you should be now, because they played physical, they played fast, they played with energy. I mean, that is the UCLA team that everybody has been waiting for since they brought Chip Kelly to campus. So I'm excited because the Pac-12 South is going to be fun this year. It's going to be wild with the Utah team that's very, very good and the UCLA team. And then you've got Herm Edwards, Arizona State team in the mix a little bit, and USC if they don't fade out. So it's going to be fun. That UCLA-USC game is going to be epic at the end of the year. But this is Chip Kelly's year. I think he's going to win the Pac-12. I'm excited.
All right. I know you've been on them. I know the LSU game, people were kind of the money was going both ways or whatever else. Ogeron had something to do and say something about their baby blues or something like that.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for him to do that. And I'm not sure when coaches are going to learn not to say things like that. Like, you look at the Houston-Texas Tech game, and Dana Holgerson the week before says, "Oh, we're going to wreck them," and that's Texas Tech's slogan. And then they got literally smacked upside the head as well in that game and lost to Texas Tech, who's not very good. So that has in-state recruiting stuff written all over it. But I'm just wondering when coaches are going to learn not to talk that much smack before games, because it's turned around and bit so many people, whether you're Scott Frost or Dana Holgerson or now Ed Orgeron, like, and he's engaging with a fan, and his comment about sissy blue shirts. I mean, Jesus, it's turned into a thing. But I did love that UCLA, after the game in the locker room, after they won, they played the LSU song "Get the Gat," which is something that they were famous for during Joe Burrow's time, and danced to it in the locker room. So that actually warmed my college football heart to see that part.
I'm going to ask you about two interesting storylines that have come out in the past 2 weeks in the football world. One has to do with high school. The other one has to do with the football program and their philosophy of things. All right, the first one, Bishop Sycamore. What? What?
Explain that.
Can it just stop not getting any weirder? Like a day ago, the coach is like, "Yeah, we're not a real school." Like, what is going on?
I honestly, I read. Obviously, I know the story, and I've seen kind of the stuff about it, and it reminded me of a while ago when there was a kid out here. I think they did a 30 for 30 on it, and it was a kid who said that he had committed to Cal, and was going to play there, and made this big decision, but then it turned out neither school had heard of him, Cal nor Oregon. It reminded me of that whole I forget that guy's name, but it reminded me of that. So when I saw all this stuff come up, I was just like, I can't get into this right now because there's college football going on, but I did read a little bit, and it's pretty incredible in this day and age that they were able to swindle their way through. And you really have to wonder who at ESPN was in charge of all that and like doing their due diligence, fact checking,
Oh, everybody from the athletic director of the IMG sitting there because they played 2 games in 3 days.
Yeah.
And ESPN not doing it. Everyone's just being like, yeah, take your word for it. It's awful. And ESPN's got its own problems. So that just one more thing that you're just like, it makes you cringe. All right. Do you know anything about this Presbyterian college, Kevin Kelly, the quarterback? I mean, the coach? The team?
No,
Ryan Heffley, the former walk-on Michigan, he threw 10 touchdowns. And he was 38 of 50 for 538 yards. They beat St. Andrews, which was an NAIA school, 84-43. But this is the quarterback. This is the coach who was famous in Arkansas high school, this Kevin Kelly. Now he's the head coach at Presbyterian football. He's the one that said, we will never punt. We're always going for 2, and we're going to do onsides every time.
I did hear about this.
So this is where he's at now, and he won 9 state titles in 18 years when he was in Arkansas. So now,
and he really has never punted. Like he just never ever
doesn't punt, goes for 2, and kicks onside every time.
I gotta watch this. This guy sounds interesting.
This Presbyterian college is located in South Carolina. All right, they threw altogether 12 touchdown passes, put up 621 yards in the air. So they actually went to their backup or whatever else. They did 9 onside kicks, recovering the opening one after winning the toss and deferring, and they converted a 4 out of 5 fourth down tries.
Wow,
it's insane. What Okay, the punting and 2 I get. So he just doesn't trust special teams, doesn't like kicking. Why the onside kick? I don't understand that.
Well,
that's where
momentum.
I'm confused.
Well, let's see. Where
you would think momentum to get back on your side.
He's saying that his kicker can't actually. I understand it. I've heard this before from high school coaches that kicking in high school is difficult because unless you're going to kick it out the end zone, which most of them can't, you're setting the other team up for a run, which I completely understand. But onside kicking every time. You have a guy that they can't find a guy from the soccer team that can kick it the length of the field. I mean, I could kick it the length of the field. Like, that makes 0 sense to me.
He says he's just playing numbers or whatever else. I don't like.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. So look into this. Look into this school, this Presbyterian or whatever else, and he, the guy, the kid, the quarterback who transferred. He was a walk-on from Michigan. He actually was coached by Kelly 5th through 9th grade in Arkansas. So he knows the system. So when he's decided he was going to move to another school, he decided that this was a good fit for him to come to Presbyterian.
He's like, I want this one.
Yeah. So basically, because he knows the system, it gave the coaching staff, was what Kelly says, an extra teacher for the rest of the team. I want to see this more. I want to see. I'm with you on the onside, But I mean, they were playing an NAIA school, and they're an FCS school.
And I guess like it's good practice. I understand wanting to, because you see a lot of these, first 2-3 week games being opponents, that people have no business playing, like UCF Bethune-Cookman. So okay, you get a chance to work on things that you're going to need situationally later in the season, right? And I understand practicing onside kicks. I'm 100% for that because we saw UCF recover one in the Boise State game, and it's important to have those plays down. But 9 times, I mean, find yourself a kicker, friend. Like, I don't understand that at all. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. I'm gonna have to look into this.
Do you remember on the water boy where at the end and they did that onside kick to win, and he's like, "Oh, which my guy? Which my guy?" And he picks him, and he muffs it, and they return. They recover it. So yeah, I get your point on that.
It's crazy.
Well,
in this day and age, they're recruiting people from overseas to be punters. I mean, people in college football. There was a kid in the Oklahoma-Tulane game. The kicker literally set a record for most kicks beyond 50 yards. He nailed 3 field goals beyond 50 yards in that first game of the season and set a school record. I think it was like 56. So if we're saying that we can't find people to kick field goals or do kickoffs, then you're not looking hard enough. You know what I mean? Like, you have to adapt or die at this point, in my opinion.
Now, there's some things about pouring on, and I if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I feel like I think Nick Nurse, the head coach of the Toronto Raptors, I think he got his start at Grandview University, and I think at one point his philosophy, but I could be a different school. There was a coach in an area around Des Moines in a smaller school that their whole philosophy was, we're going to chuck threes.
I know you're talking about. Now
is it Grandview? Anyway, I could be wrong, but the thing is, I will tell you this.
Oh, I can't think of it.
I will tell you this. It's not a bad idea to go for the onside if you're playing Iowa, because let me tell you about Charlie Jones. He's the returner and the wide receiver. There's not a kick or a punt that guy does not believe can be returned. I watched him every time. I was like, oh, that's in the end zone. He still took that ball out, and he would get out there, and that guy is that heart of that team. He'll get right up to that fan section and start waving his arms up there. I love this kid because I've never shook hands with him. I've never had a conversation with him. I feel like there's not a ball that he doesn't want to return. I feel like he thinks he's the leader of the team. I feel like Charlie Jones always bets on Charlie Jones. And I think he gives 0 Fs. So that's why I love him. So if you're playing Iowa,
it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, if you're playing Iowa, you might as well do the onside because Charlie Jones is going to bring it back that far out anyway.
And I get it because you want to control what you can control, and throwing up a kick or a punt, you're leaving a lot of things to chance, with everybody. But you got to trust your team. You can't. That shows your players you have no faith in them. And I understand, he's riling them up a different way, but I don't know. Like it makes me feel like there's no faith in the guys that they could execute special team plays, which is weird. So
yeah, can you just imagine that he's at a high school game, scout recruiting for a Presbyterian, and runs into a parent. The parent's like, "My kid's a kicker. Maybe he'll walk on." He's like, "No thanks." No thanks. And he's like, "What do you mean? We just had
people too." Okay, calm down.
I thought we had a connection. Look at my kid. Look, you can kick these 35-yard field goals. Nah, no good. I'm okay. I don't want him to walk on.
It's not just that you're taking away the long snapper position. You're taking away positions from guys that need them for college. I mean, there's a lot of people that train to be those things, and that's how they get into college, and that's how they play on the team, and that's how they get their education. So to me, you're taking away 3 to 4 very important positions that are utilized in college football, and you're taking away kids' chances to possibly make a team and get an education, and that part doesn't sit right with me at all.
Well, keep an eye out for this Presbyterian football and Coach Kevin Kelly. They, like I said, this Heffley, he ran Heffley through, he attempted 50 passes, completed 38 for 538 yards, which, by the way, is exactly what I expect out of Matt Stafford every Sunday when I have him playing for my fantasy team in the Rams offense. So
good luck with that.
Good luck with that. Do you do any fantasy football? Do you have time?
I do not, because I always my problem is that I draft kickers first, and I pick guys that I know. Every single year I drafted Andrew Luck, even if he was hurt, and he was always my quarterback. So I do not anymore because it's not worth it. But my boyfriend Chase is doing it this year, and I helped him with his draft, and I'm a little nervous because I did have him pick up some young guys from college football last year, and we had him take a kicker probably earlier than he wanted, but I'm excited to be invested in his team and see what he can do.
What kicker did you make him get?
Rodrigo Blankenship.
Oh, jeez. Isn't that the guy who stole the Kicker of the Year award from Keith Duncan from Iowa? I'm pretty
First
sure.
of all,
Yeah.
he is incredible, and he's set up in a situation with the Colts. I'm very excited for him, so we'll see. We'll see.
I've got way too many stocks of everybody on the Rams, so they better score a lot of points because Gay's my kicker for a lot of teams as well. So
okay. How many leagues do you play in?
Way too many, Emily.
Okay.
Way too many, like ridiculously way too many, and it's nuts. So
yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel good about some of them, and then other ones I hate my team. So that's about par for the course. So this week, Oregon at Ohio State. Where are you going next week?
I will be at the Alabama-Florida game in Gainesville.
All right. Well, I'll text you. We'll figure out a time sometime to talk next week when you're free. Tell everyone where they can your podcast, where to follow you online, social media, everything.
Yeah, so my handle on Twitter and Instagram is EMILNEM, EMILNEM. So definitely follow there for all the game day stuff. I'm currently writing for the SB Nation Underdog Dynasty site. I am their AAC contributing writer, so I'm doing a podcast every week. So definitely subscribe to Underdog Dynasty. Subscribe to my podcast, Sideline Sass. There's going to be a lot of good stories and analysis in there. And then also check out theskyboat.org. I'm doing a lot of recap and game things for them as well. I just had a big story come out about San Jose State football. Somebody on Twitter told me that it was random they were good, and that really upset me in a way that I couldn't quite get a grasp on. So I decided to seek out Terry Shea, who was a former head coach from the 80s and 90s, and I talked to Brent Jones because his dad, Mike Jones, played quarterback there. And I spoke with Mike McIntyre, who used to be the head coach and is now the defensive coordinator at Memphis. And I talked to them about why the program is, in fact, it's not random that they're good and it's systematic. So that story can be found at sportsfanjournal.com or on my social. And it was really fun to write. And I think people should watch out for the Spartans. I picked them to beat USC. Obviously, that didn't pan out, but I still think they're going to have a hell of a season. So,
right on. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it that you can go this long. In answering the phone call and everything else. So I appreciate it. It's almost 40 minutes, and it's always fun talking to you. So
always, I will always have you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Emily.
Safe travels.
Okay,
appreciate you. Yep.
Hi, Tyler.
All right, that's Emily Van Buskirk. We do have to take a quick break here at ESPN 1170 AM. Don't Hassle Us Local. We'll be right back, and we're going to look at the games this week, and we'll do the Wednesday 150s.
We're going streaking through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody!
You like that? You like that? Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
This is Julian Vandervelde, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
At Crawford Company, we specialize in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Sports, on the other hand?
Hey, Crawford guy, go long!
No, I can't!
Here comes the pitch to Crawford guy. Strike three.
Come on, Crawford guy, take the shot!
Sports may not be our specialty, but home comfort is. Crawford Company, plumbing and drain cleaning, heating and air conditioning.
Hey, Quad Cities, what do you need printed today? QC Press has 2 locations, QC Press in Moline and now Davenport Printing Company in downtown Davenport. Either location will help with t-shirts for employees, yard signs for your construction company, direct mail advertising to the general public, and yep, even business cards. A QC Press local designer will create your perfect card. Whatever promotional items you need, QC Press will get it done for you. Go to QCPress.com or DavenportPrintingCompany.com and let them help you get it done.
When you open an essential business checking account at First Midwest Bank, you'll earn a $500 bonus. But that's not all. You'll also have your own local banker who knows your business. A $500 bonus plus a local bank to help you succeed. That's banking with momentum. Visit a First Midwest branch to open an essential business checking account by November 30th, 2021. $100 minimum deposit to open. Available to businesses located in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Must complete all bonus requirements to be eligible. Details available at firstmidwest.com/smallbiz, member FDIC.
LeClaire Manufacturing in Bettendorf knows that hiring quality people who contribute to the success of their products is what has kept them running successfully for more than 55 years. And now you can join their team. LeClaire Manufacturing has immediate openings for production workers on all shifts. Looking for a stable environment, great benefits, exceptional pay, and endless opportunities for growth and advancement? Then become a member of the LeClaire Manufacturing family. Apply today. Go to leclercmfg.com/careers.
FanDuel Sportsbook has finally found something Iowa and Iowa State fans can agree on. It's called the Scoreboard Sure Thing, and you can win up to $50 this Saturday if either team scores. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. This exclusive offer is open to all customers in Iowa, so whether you're wearing Cardinal or black, you're sure to win some green. And when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 24 hours. This is college football betting made simple, so don't miss out on the Scoreboard Sure Thing this Saturday when Iowa plays Iowa State. New to FanDuel Sportsbook? Claim your risk-free bet up to $1,000 with promo code TREVOR. That's promo code TREVOR. Make every moment more, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. 21 plus and present in Iowa. Max bet $50 for Scoreboard Sure Thing. First online real money wager only for new customer risk-free bet. Refund issued as a non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Must wager in designated boost market. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
I'm Omar Reese with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. When Mac Jones won New England's quarterback competition, it came as a surprise to many, but not to Jones. The rookie quarterback says he wasn't shocked by the outcome, explaining he always approached his first season as if he was the quarterback at the top of the depth chart. Jones' stellar preseason for a rookie quarterback ranked as the best ever, according to Pro Football Focus. Le'Veon Bell has a new home with what used to be a familiar foe. NFL Network's Mike Garafolo reporting Bell is back in the AFC North after signing with the Ravens practice squad. Speaking of running backs, the Saints releasing Latavius Murray on Tuesday. The move saves more than $3 million in immediate salary cap space. And the Buccaneers added Chris Godwin to the injury report ahead of Thursday night's season opener against the Cowboys, listing the receiver as a limited participant in Tuesday's practice with a quad injury. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
I can pop a beer in here, right? Your cousin from Boston. This here is Sam Adams Boston Lager. It's my go-to beer. Not too heavy, not too light. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, that's whoopsie daisy. Oh no. Is there somebody that can help? Come on in the room. It poured right in the keyboard. Relax. I spill beer on my computer all the time. Sam Adams Boston Lager. The Boston Beer Company, Boston, Massachusetts. Drink responsibly.
Thursday Night Football is only on NFL Network.
No, Tom, it is everything you got.
We're here for a storied rivalry with the game's brightest stars.
What an impressive run with a stiff arm.
Saquon is back, giving the Giants renewed hope.
What a game he's had.
But Chase Young has his squad ready to defend the division crown.
I'm not losing.
It's an NFC East showdown.
Woo! Yeah, baby.
That's big time there.
Thursday Night Football, September 16th, only on NFL Network.
From the Vegas Gaming Cafe, this is the Quad City sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBLB Davenport, a Town Square media station.
We're back here in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by the R Bar in Davenport. Real quick, want to remind everybody about our friends at the Martin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry. Martin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry's goal is to help everybody have a positive dental experience, and that starts with their youngest patients at their very first dental appointment. The office is kid-friendly and designed to be comfortable for all ages. There's a designated kids area, and the entire staff is very experienced and comfortable with children of all ages. For the adult hassle maniacs, Martin Family Dental will take care of all your dental needs, from your first cleaning to all restorative work. They have a relaxed environment to help you be as comfortable as possible at a place you like to visit. Check out their webpage at martinfamilydds.com and visit the before and after photos for whitening, and also read the testimonials from very satisfied patients. Plus, don't forget to like and follow their Facebook page as well. Call Martin Family and Cosmetic Dentistry today at 563-355-6626 to set up your appointment today. All right, this is my new segment. It's called the 150s, Wednesday 150s, where I'm going to put, where I'm confident, I'm going to put $100 down on a game. Where I'm not as confident, I have to put 50. I have to go one way or the other. I have to put a stake. Obviously, if you lose, you have to throw in the juice. It'll be minus 110. If you lose, the $50 games will be minus 55. We'll see where we're at after week one. Tomorrow night, we have the first game. It's a Thursday night game. Tampa Bay, the defending Super Bowl champions, will play host to the Cowboys. 16 games this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I only have 7 100 games. The rest are all 50, so 9 50s. First things out of the gate, I'm going to have to go one way or the other. -8, it's Tampa Bay versus the Cowboys. The over-under, we talked about this, was 52. That's way too high, so take a look at that as well. The money is actually more on the under, is on the over, actually, 55%. But that being said, we only have a limited amount of time to go through 16 games. I'm going to put 50 on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to cover the 8. I think, Kyle, what you said off the air is true. I think Tom does start a little bit slow, but they do return all 11 on offense and defense.
Yep.
Dak, with all reports, I don't know. Is his shoulder healthy? Is it not?
He says he's ready to go.
I'm sure he's ready to go. But is the Cowboy defense ready to go? Because I'm telling you what, that Tampa Bay defense is legit.
Sorry, T-Roy. I know him and his boys.
24-14, 27-14. That covers spread for me. I'm going to put 50 on the Buccaneers. Okay, going into Sunday's games. Tennessee Titans play host to the Cardinals. Back-to-back, since Cowboys lose or whatever else, good. Mike McCarthy's on the hot seat. Another one whose coaching career is kind of questionable right now is Cliff Kingsbury. He's going to go to Tennessee. It's -2.5. I'm going to put 50 on the Titans to cover here on the road. Feel like I have more confidence in their offense and their defense than I do in Arizona.
52 is a lot of points for that game.
That is as well, yep.
Holy crap.
Now we've got Jacksonville favored on the road in Houston.
Houston's got new quarterback.
Tyrod Taylor. But Jacksonville's got a new quarterback.
Yeah.
They've got a new coach.
Good old
They don't
Trevor
have
Lawrence.
Etienne. They do have James Robinson there. But, Jacksonville's favored on the road, and Houston isn't. Houston is a dumpster fire. I understand that. I'm actually going the opposite. I'm being contrarian of the money and the number of tickets. I'm taking Houston +2.5 at home. I'm putting 50 on it. The money is going towards the Jags at 70%, and 84% of the tickets are on the Jags. Now we've got the Chargers going to the Washington football team. Riverboat Ron versus a first-year coach. Chargers actually favored on the road at -1. I'm putting 50 on Riverboat Ron. Getting points at home. A home dog. So back-to-back home dogs, $50. Now I'm going to jump up to a $100 game. Vikings go on the road at the Bengals. -3. They're road favorites. I'm putting 100 on the Vikings. They have to. The Vikings, if they want to prove that they're more than an 8-9 win team, they have to win this game by a lot. They can't just stumble out of the gates.
Cousins got to have to throw. Cook's going to have to
They've got a great running back. They've got a great receiver, and they've got a functioning quarterback. I mean, I said it. They were the only ones in the league last year that had like a 1,500,000 receiver and 2,000, 3,000 yard passer. I don't know. Look it up. They're the only ones that had anything like that. So the weapons are there. Defense needs to step up. Joe Burrow says his knee's fine. I don't know. So we'll see. But
see if he gets out of the pocket and wants
to Cincinnati.
run.
Jamar Chase can't catch a ball. I'm taking -3 on the road, putting 100 on it. Then I love this game. I love the Carolina Panthers hosting the Jets. Carolina -5.5. The Sam Darnold Bowl, I like to call it.
Who's the Panthers quarterback?
Sam Darnold.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, this is a revenge game. You're coming into his new house after you traded him away.
I don't know. I might have to go with the Panthers.
I'm taking the Panthers -5.5, and I'm putting 100 on it.
Christian McCaffrey, give him the ball.
Yep.
He's just.
I like this game a lot. It'll be one that, just kind of, it's a red zone's on in the background or whatever. I was hoping that they go to that quite a bit. Or you have that CBS game of the week and it's a blowout, and they're like, we're going to take you out to Carolina where Sam Darnold's, putting it on the Jets. So I got the Carolina Panthers at -5.5. Then we got the Eagles at the Falcons. Falcons are favored by 3. Arthur Smith brings in his new is a first-year coach for Atlanta, brings in a new offense for Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley. Philadelphia Eagles, obviously, with Jalen Hurts. The questions with the Eagles are going to be offensive line, defensive line, but I am taking the Eagles on the road at +3. I just don't think the Falcons are going to come out and make a statement game against the Eagles.
Nope.
I've seen this way too much where it's 21-20 and the Eagles. If I take Atlanta here at -3, I've seen this way too much that it's 21-20 and the Falcons either kick a field goal or they don't to win the game, but it's still not to cover spread. So either they lose 21-20 or they win 23-21. So that's why I'm taking Philadelphia Eagles, and that's not the first time I've complained about the Atlanta Falcons in my gambling career.
True.
It's a revolving theme.
Mm-hmm.
Bills at home against the Steelers. Heck yeah, this is a statement game for the Bills.
Yep.
-6.5. I'm putting 100 on the Bills. I'm not even phased on it. This is a statement game for them. Steelers are going to still have to work out the kinks in their offense with new offensive coordinator Matt Canada. So I like the Bills here quite a bit. The money, 76% of the money is on the Bills. 73% of the tickets being sold are on the Bills as well. Seahawks go to Indianapolis. Seahawks are favored on the road at -2.5. I'm taking Indy in this game. In the last season home openers, in the last 6, the Seahawks are 1-5 against the spread. So give me the 2.5 and the Indianapolis Colts for 50. I'm contrarian against the money and the tickets being sold. 85% of the money is on the Seahawks. So the wise guys are on the Seahawks. 49ers go to the Lions. This is my also my survivor pool game of the week. I'm taking the 49ers in my survivor pool. It's -7. I'm putting 100 on the 49ers.
Niners starting Trey Lance or what?
No, Trey Lance has got a problem with his finger. He got a little fracture in it on one of it, so it'll be Jimmy G's show, and that's all you need. Jimmy G just to get after it. Detroit. Browns go to the Chiefs. This is the interesting one.
Yeah.
-6 for the Chiefs at home. This game means more to the Browns than it does to the Chiefs.
Yep.
So and that being said, I'm putting 50 on the Browns +6. Doesn't mean they're going to win the game. It means they're going to be within 6 points. So I'm putting 50 on that.
They'll make it close.
Broncos go to the Giants. I have a lot more confidence in Teddy Two Gloves, although I love to say Danny Dimes, and I think Joe Judge is going to be a great coach. A lot more than I have faith in Vic Fangio. But Teddy Two Gloves, he's got some weapons out there in Denver, a good defense against that New York. I'm going to take the road favorite there, 100 on the Broncos. Packers and the Saints, that'll be down in Jacksonville. Packers -4, 100 on them. I'm interested to see what Jameis is going to do, though. I feel like we might have fun. People might be scrambling to put him on the waiver wires. Dolphins go to New England. It's a rookie's first start.
New England's always kind of struggled against.
It's a rookie's full. Yeah, that's usually down in Miami or whatever else, but it's a rookie's first start. +3, give me $50 on the Dolphins. Sunday night game of the week, the Rams host the Bears. Maybe we see Fields in this, maybe we don't. I'll give up the 7.5. I'll take the Rams for 100. And then finally, the Monday night game, Ravens go to the Raiders. First time the Raiders are going to have fans in the stands at their new place. So I'll take the +4 for 50, and that's our 150s for Wednesday. Kyle, thanks for coming in today. Keep me company and everything else. We'll see how the rest of the week looks and whatnot. What do you got planned for this weekend?
Might head to Altoona. There you go. An Iowa bar that if you guys follow Hawkeye Heaven, they have a podcast. They do it between every Wednesday and Thursday. They pick games, and it's at a big bar in Altoona. It's all Iowa. They're going to have food vendors and tailgating, and might head up there because I've never been up there before.
That's a good plan.
And then maybe stay at the casino and
make a day of it. Who knows if we'll have enough time? Who knows? No, that sounds like fun. Yeah. So tomorrow we'll have Tom Kakert in studio. T-Roy will be back. We've got to finish picking out all the teams for the all the wins for the teams for the NFL before we're finally done for the year doing that. So tune in tomorrow at noon. Kakert will be talking about Iowa and whatnot. But Kyle, thank you so much for today. All right, guys, we will see you. Enjoy yourselves, Quad Cities. Stay safe and sanitized. We'll see you tomorrow.
Adios.
Hey, this is Goose, PA announcer for the Quad City Storm, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Draft Day Sports Lounge has